Good morning. I'm Bruce Evanson from Suncoast Fly Fishers. This morning we're going to have a pretty cool little shrimp to tie. This shrimp is all white. It's one that we use for dock lights and sandbars and sandy patch areas and all to work. One of my favorite because it's got a very realistic look. Now also, when you see me tie this in all white, know that you can also tie it in brown or in grays. Browns if you want to fish it on the flats, grays for the flats and around the mangroves and that type of thing. So it's a great little fly, and the fact that almost everything out there eats shrimp. So let's take it from there. Now what we're going to do is I'm using a number 2 3407, and I'm going to wrap it from the eye of the hook back to just past the hook point. So I'm going to get right back in here. All right, that'll be my first step. Cut off my tag end here. Second, I'm going to take a little white bucktail, not a lot, just get a little bit here. Clip this off, and this is going to come right out through the front, so let me trim this and tie it off. So I'm going to put this right here, give this a couple of wraps, get it worked around, tie this off nice and tight, and because I'm an old man, I'm going to put my magnifiers on so I can see. Okay, so I've got this on. My next step is I'm going to take just a tiny piece of marabou, just a little bit here. And again, I'm going to trim this off. Add it right to the front also. Trim my excess off here, and we're just going to build this little shrimp up as we go. Our next step is going to be, we're going to add a couple of legs, 2 legs, which will become 4 legs. And what I'm going to do here is bring them around, double them up, pull them right down on top there, give it a couple wraps. Now get these on each side like I want them, and let me wrap them down here. That'll be good. I'll trim the excess off later. So now what I have are the legs and everything here. Now, after that, I've got one more step in this position, and that's going to be the eyes. And these eyes I pre-make. I just simply dip them into epoxy and set them. Then I dip them into a little red paint and set them, and then I dip them into epoxy one more time and set them. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to come from underneath, back here, bring it back, and now I'm going to wrap. By making them all on one piece, I can tie 2 on at the same time, and that way they're always going to be exactly the same height and in correct positions where they should be. So I've got that on now. Now, my next step is I'm going to take a little chenille here and tie it on, and the different chenilles you can use. Sometimes I use the Palmer chenille in the medium size. This I'm going to use short because it's going to be all we need. And when you're wrapping, I've started it there, but I'm going to bring it back here to catch my next step. So I'm going to take this and wrap away from myself. through here. And now I'm going to wrap it back. Okay, when I get it right back to here, now I'm going to wrap it right in front of the eye of the hook here. Let me wrap this up a few wraps. Now once I've got it there, I'm going to take my scissor, because I'm going to create the carapace across here. I want to trim off this excess here, because these are actually going to represent the legs down below, the tiny legs that shrimp have. So let me trim this off here. Okay, so now we have this and this. We'll bend it all to shape when we get ready. Now the next thing we're going to do is take a little Supreme hair in the white. This is a nice stiff kinky fiber, and I'm going to decide how thick I want the body to be, which again, like deer hair, it's about the thickness of a wooden matchstick. I'm going to clip it down close, and what I'm going to do is, this is going to become my tail, and I'm going to let this stick out a 1/4 inch past the hook eye. So I'm going to bring it right here, so I have a little tail, and there we go. I'm going to wrap it down here, give it a knot or two so it doesn't come undone, and then I'm going to bring it here and decide what length I want this to be, and my guess is going to be right about here. I can always cut it shorter if need be. So I've cut it off there. Now what we're going to do is we're going to take some epoxy, and I'm going to go from on top of where I just wrapped it on the thread wraps here, and I'm going to put a nice healthy bead of epoxy right up the back of this, up and back, right there. Now you want to continue to hold this in the position you want it. If you want it lower, higher, wherever you want it, but I'm going to hold it right about here, and I'm going to come in and hit it with my light. I've got to do this in a couple stages, and this is going to take us a little time because it's about a 30-second cure. So, I'm going to approximate it till it gets stiff. Now I'm going to come up here a little further. And then I'm going to bring it up here. As you can see, now I've made this fairly stiff. We'll cure it a little more as we go. But right now, what I'm going to do is turn this sideways, and I'm going to add a little more epoxy on the body here, just between the legs and the body as a little filler. There. Let this set a moment. That'll reinforce my body. And like I say, the same thing applies when you want to make the other ones. The brown shrimp is also excellent in the bay, and the gray shrimp are also excellent. Just use your colors to blend with those shrimp. The white is excellent for dock lights, and like I say, it's excellent for sandbars and sand patches and on the flats. It's a great little fly. Okay, let me turn this over, do the same thing on the other side here. Okay. this is drying, I have one last thing to do. I'm going to take 2 lengths of Pearl Flash, Crystal Flash. As you can see here, I have them long and I will trim them when I'm done, but I've got a couple pieces here of Crystal Flash. Now what I'm going to do here with the Crystal Flash is I'm going to take one more time just a little touch of epoxy just on the top here, just a little bit right there. Now I'm going to take these here and I'm going to lay them right into that Crystal Flash, and while it's there I'm going to set it, and then this will make 2 nice little tentacles coming out, and this is going to wrap this up in just a second, but I want to get it where you can see it. Now what I will do is, typically I would put this out in my lawn on a sunny day and let it sit out there for about a half hour, and it'll just get rock hard, nice plastic hard on there from the epoxy. If you can't, a little coat of nail polish will do the same thing, or you can even take some rubbing alcohol and wipe it down with a Q-tip, and you'll get that tackiness off. I wish they made an epoxy that was tacky-free, but I haven't found one yet. So let me take a look here now. Let me get these out where I want them. Okay. Now, I didn't tie this off here a minute. And these legs are a little longer than I need, the silly legs, so I'm going to trim them off even about here. Now, as you can see, we have a nice white shrimp for dock-light fishing. And like I say, you can make it in various colors if you'd like to, for different types. But everything eats shrimp. It's a great little fly. Thank you very much.